Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Ashley McDowell. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. A plan is in place to reopen tourism in the CNMI. We have the details. Also tonight, the first distribution of stimulus checks have been sent out. And tough decisions loom for next year's PSS budget. Stay with us, these stories and more are next.
My family is on whole home Wi-Fi powered by Plume.
Since we installed the Docomo whole home Wi-Fi, what did you guys notice about it?
When you pull up the driveway, it automatically connects, and I don't have to get out of my car right away and come upstairs to go on my phone.
My favorite thing is that it doesn't buffer when I'm watching YouTube.
My favorite thing is that when Addie calls now, there's no lag. Like before, it used to be where I couldn't see her sometimes and I have to hang up and then call her back, and now I don't have to do that.
You know what's a good thing too is that when you come over to visit, I could give you your own password. I can assign a time limit so that I can say that you can only be on it for 1 hour, so that means you won't get in trouble from your mom.
And then you can go home.
The thing that I love the most is that I can freeze the internet for periods of time so that we can enjoy dinner time like this. Why are you rolling your eyes? So I'll turn it back on after dinner. Whole home Wi-Fi powered by Plume. Docomo Pacific, better together.
Jose and Pedro were born on the very same day. Jose liked to play sports. Pedro liked to play video games. Jose's favorite word was pass. Pass me the ball. Pedro's favorite word was pass too. Pass me the rice. Jose is retired and has both time and energy. His life is just beginning. Pedro has diabetes, hypertension, and gout. His life could soon end. Eat less, play more, live longer. Brought to you by PHI, the pharmacy you can trust.
Half a day, Tirawami, and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. Plans are in place to reopen the economy and tourism in the CNMI. Take a listen. July 15th. That's the date presented to Governor Torres today by the COVID-19 Economic Task Force to reopen tourism in the CNMI.
Once we get these mitigation protocols put into place, that we look towards a July 15th timeline in opening up the relative economy to tourism. Once we have all of these protocols again laid out. And our intent is to, and we're writing the grant now, to look at a grant to put some cost measures in place that will require origin testing for the tourists leaving their country and origin testing upon arrival into the Commonwealth. These will be costly, so we're looking at a very large grant to initially lay out the July 15th opening and testing going forward for probably the remainder of this calendar year until we really have a handle on where we are with a vaccine for the virus or some type of treatment for the virus. But we, as every jurisdiction in the United States and around the world is doing, we're all trying to get our economies going so people can be gainfully employed and our people can get back to work.
The tourism market in the CNMI will be opened up in phases, following a color-coded implementation plan of red, orange, yellow, and green.
Originally, we had a concept of 5 different phases that corresponded with reductions in restrictions that were placed through the executive orders. From conversation with CHC recently, a new sort of methodology was formulated in order to phase between the different color codes. But at any given point in time, the CNMI can correspond with one of these 4 color areas, depending on testing and the number of positive cases. So that's really the innovation of this phasing process. This is not necessarily related to the extent and time frame of the last positive cases, but more so the total number of tests that are being done throughout the community.
Governor Torres says moving forward with the economic recovery plan will be a collaborative effort of everyone in the community.
One thing's for sure is that we're making changes along the way, but we're doing it as a community, both citizens and private partners. That's why today, rolling out what we want to see moving forward is a collaborative effort by chambers, me, our community, our government, especially having our healthcare declaration. All of us, just here today, all of us are wearing masks. It's a different norm. And we roll out our business, it's going to be different. We ask our community to be patient, to understand that we want to open up our community, our tourism, our business partners, but we want to do it in a manner where we can all adjust together.
Check your bank account or your P.O. box, as you may be seeing a nice check with your name on it. The Department of Finance has sent out the first distribution of stimulus checks to those who qualify here in the CNMI.
We were able to process $42.7 million worth of stimulus checks. Our Department of Revenue and Taxation processed over close to 30,000 30,000 checks or stimulus checks. We are in the process of sorting all the checks currently. We should have this all out into the mail by tomorrow morning, if not the end of the day. Those that opted in for direct deposit will be getting their direct deposits today. We were hoping to get these direct deposits in yesterday, but we had a little glitch with our file with the Bank of Guam, but we got that all cleared out, and so everyone should be happy today, tomorrow, and the next. That is over $42.7 million being issued out in our first batch.
Meaning those who file single will receive $1,200. Those who file jointly will receive $2,400 and $500 for each child. Those who did not receive the direct deposit or check from the first round will be part of the second round of disbursements that will be sent out May 22nd.
We do have individuals and taxpayers that are still processing have turned in their 1090 forms, their forms to Rev and Tax, which has not been entered or in the process of being entered. And so for those that did not get their checks in the first round, we'll be getting it on May 22nd. We were given $37.6 million from the IRS. 80% of the total estimated award from IRS for the stimulus. And so we're anticipating another $6 to $8 million of checks or direct deposits for the stimulus for our residents. And this includes those that have not submitted zero income returns. These are for for those that did not have an income or are SSI or SS recipients. They must fill out a form in order to get the stimulus.
Attilig states the stimulus portal is closed down at the moment due to high volumes of applications for direct deposit, but will be reopened.
The portal is closed down right now until we upload all the new data we have, because we do a verification check. When you submit your information, we verify if you've already received the stimulus check or not, and it won't, so that it will either allow you or disallow you from entering your information. We plan to open it back up at the end of the week, if not early next week, so that those on the second batch are encouraged to submit their information and opt in getting a direct deposit. We're trying to promote social distancing and minimizing people crowding the post office as well as the banks in line to cash their checks. So we try to encourage people to go on to our online stimulus portal. I do want to ensure the public that our portal is very secure. We're bounded by IRS security standards, and so the information is very well secured. And so anyone putting their information, their social security numbers, their banking information will not. We're doing everything we can to secure that information.
Attilik states there is no deduction in the stimulus checks unless child support is owed. With a drastic reduction in money coming in, the government is forced to make some hard fiscal decisions. At the Board of Education meeting today, one of those issues came up: group health insurance with Aetna, an employment benefit that most people consider essential. PSS Acting Finance Director Kimo Rosario laid bare the numbers when discussing next year's budget.
For our PSS to effectively function within budget authority, projecting to be $31.1 million, we need on Aetna insurance. Right now, PSS pays $140,000 biweekly in employer share for Aetna. Employees pay $40,000. If we're going to continue Aetna at $140,000 biweekly, then we're going to be faced with a $3.6 million shortfall at the end of the fiscal year. It is going to be an unfunded liability. We're going to need like $34 million, just like last fiscal year, just to meet payroll.
No one at the meeting recommended getting rid of group health insurance. Concern was raised that if the CNMI government pulls out of Aetna, then PSS would be on their own, which in all likelihood raise costs even further. The matter was referred to the Fiscal Committee. The governor's COVID-19 task force gives a sneak peek of the CNMI alternative care site at Kanoa Resort. Sally Lemus reports.
In the combat against the coronavirus, the governor's COVID-19 task force is not holding back in providing all precautionary measures needed. Patrick Guerrero, the governor's authorized representative, says they received guidance from FEMA on April 2nd on how to convert a hotel into an alternate care site, and the transformation of Kanoa Resort is expected to be completed by May 22.
This here now is going to be a 50 ICU bed facility on the first level, and on this main wing up above, 5 floors, 152 mid-level care rooms. The property itself has an additional 72 rooms on the tower side, and that will be that could be converted into more mid-level care rooms if needed. But for now, it may even serve as housing for medical care professionals that will be coming in, whether through private partnership or through DoD arrangements, mission assignment with the Department of Defense and through FEMA.
Helios Energy Group are the lead designers and engineers of this project.
The whole structure, the whole spatial extent of this area was designed to contain an evolution. The evolution is, number one, is we're establishing an ICU in this zone. ICU patients will also need hemodialysis on this zone. And then, of course, the wraparound services in this area. Every square inch of this structure is through positive and negative airflow. The air change in this structure exceeds all hospital standards. Air changes every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes. So technically, if one was to light a cigarette 10 feet away, you wouldn't be able to smell it because the air would change immediately. So in the event that we needed to evolve because we needed more space, we're able to knock this down, take down our modular furniture that we installed to save time, and put more beds in this area. And then, of course, we would establish a different designation for the doctors and the nurses and the wraparound services to continue to provide the care.
Sablon adds that there were many challenges in building this project, with all the supply and logistics almost coming to a halt, and working with building drawings from the 1970s.
In 1977, when they built this, there was no building code. There was no guidance. It wasn't a free-for-all, but I'm sure they had a system. So as we went on, a normal A&E approach, architecture and engineering approach, would require us to go through progressions and get to 100% design and be able to articulate it out to a contractor where he's able to bid and whatnot. But you're running into stuff that we haven't seen, we've never seen, very archaic devices. We need tracing them back, finding out where they're at, whether or not we can touch it or not, build around it, how we're going to protect it, and still not compromise the integrity of the building. And heading also into the intended performance of the building is a total challenge.
Nothing would have been possible without collaborative effort.
Everybody has a role in here. We all go to work every day knowing that we're going to make a difference. We have to match the efforts that the administration, the legislature, the frontliners are going through. We have to match that. And we want to continue to do that because we're in this fight together.
The alternate care site facility is nearing completion, awaiting the arrival of medical equipment and supplies.
We're bringing in hemodialysis machines, obviously ventilators for it being a respiratory disease, but everything, bedside monitors, portable x-rays, portable ultrasound. This facility is going to be equipped with all that. That's going to be the bulk of the expense. And right now, we're moving so fast ahead. We're designing and we're constructing right behind it. We do have costs of what it will be at the end of the day, but that changes every day as well. It is in the millions of dollars, and I'll have more to share on that when we as we near completion.
Governor Ralph Torres says he is grateful for the teamwork and is happy with the progress.
I hope we never get to use it, but seeing everything that's going around in our region, in the world, in our nation, now they're talking about second wave. We're not even done with our first, let alone second wave. And so, even the simplest things like our masks, our gowns, we ordered them by the hundreds of thousands because we see the burn rate throughout the whole government, the hospital. And this is not a short term, it's a long term.
Reporting for KSPN News, I'm Sally Lemis.
Here are the up-to-date vital statistics in the Northern Marianas as provided by the Governor's COVID-19 Task Force and Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. To date, deaths remain at 2. There have been 19 cases reported, with 5 of them classified as active. The total spiked Monday when the task force reopened three males aged 19, 25, and 27, all asymptomatic, tested positive. They were identified through contact tracing, which indicated they were exposed at small household gatherings. The task force and CHCC urges the public to continue practicing social distancing and avoiding public areas as much as possible so as to reduce the places where the virus can reside and multiply. Without a home, the coronavirus dies. The governor's authorized representative appeared before the House Special Committee to provide information on contracts and expenditures related to COVID-19 purposes.
The Special Committee on Federal Assistance and Disaster-Related Funding requested the appearance of Patrick Guerrero, the governor's authorized representative, for an open discussion regarding all federal funding for the health emergency. Guerrero says they are following emergency procurement regulations, which requires emergency managers to bid competitively.
The Homeland Security in a disaster is the lead agency for providing resources in a time of need in the response. They follow a national incident command system that's used in every state, even by FEMA themselves. It's a command system that has the incident commander, for example, Gerald Guerrero from Homeland Security. It has a planning section, it has a operations section, a logistics section, and a finance section. When a resource is requested or a need is identified, it goes through all those. It goes through a process What is the resource that we need? Do we have it? If we have it, then we use our own resource, whether it's our own vehicle, whether it's our own employees to provide labor. If we don't have it, where do we get it? Then we identify a source. Of course, we always start locally. What do we have on island? If we don't have it on island, then we go out further.
Finance Secretary David Atelig also addresses inquiries by the House Committee regarding overtime.
We're only paying is straight time and overtime at 1.5. There's no 2.5 is what we've heard all throughout YouTube. And let's answer your question about any cabinet members or any directors. In a disaster, if they are approved with a Cat B form and they're providing hours in the emergency being reassigned outside of their current duties, then they are qualified to get paid overtime. However, my office has not paid them, paid anyone outside of those frontline workers and probably lower level directors and managers for overtime.
Secretary Atelig says overtime expenditures come from the CARES Act, and so far, the CNMI has spent about $350,000 per pay period for frontliners. Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios says the books are open for all records pertaining to the CNMI's response towards the COVID-19 pandemic.
We've entrusted the Secretary of Finance with a lot of things. A lot of the contracts that are being questioned and a lot of the purchases will also be reviewed by the Attorney General. And certainly the books are going to be open. And we're mindful that it will be opened by the public auditor and even the federal agencies themselves.
Stay with KSPN for part 2 of this story. I'm Sally Limis reporting.
A new law is in place that may change the way you drive. More on that after the break.
Mom, are you sure? What about the shutters? And do you have your medicine?
Don't worry about us, love, okay? You take good care of yourself. I'm in love. Yeah, sorry. The power went out, so I had to light up all the candles. Yeah. Yes, baby, yeah. I'm just glad our home phone's working and we're able to contact you.
Mom, are you sure? What about the shutters? And do you have your medicine?
Don't worry about us, love, okay? You take good care of yourself. I'm in love. Yeah, sorry. The power went out, so I had to light up all the candles. Yeah. Yes, baby, yeah. I'm just glad our home phone's working and we're able to contact you.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. United Airlines has announced the updated flight schedules for Saipan, Guam, Palau, and Micronesia. According to a release from United Airlines, due to the low demand for travel, United will be operating an estimated 85% fewer flights in May and June. The route to and from Guam Honolulu is one daily flight. To and from Guam Narita is one flight Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. To and from Saipan is one flight Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Flights to and from Manila are suspended until further notice. Operation dates for the Island Hopper vary. United States change fees will be waived for any booking, domestic or international, through May 31st for any travel that is booked through the end of the year. A new law is in effect that may influence the way you drive. Talking on the phone, texting, changing a song, playing on social media, or even just holding your phone while driving is now a crime, according to Public Law 21-17.
This is actually one of the better laws that I have seen passed by a legislature that prohibits cell phone use in a car. It essentially requires you to shift to hands-free use of a cell phone when you are operating a motor vehicle. The legislature and the governor recognized that when you have a mobile device like a cell phone in your hand, and whether you're talking or texting or doing something else, it is a distraction from your driving that is extremely dangerous. And modern technology creates really good ways that you can do this hands-free. And so the law completely requires you to do that.
And breaking that law can result in some pretty high fines.
Normally, most of the traffic fines that are listed in the traffic code have fines anywhere from $1 up to $500. The legislature for this specific crime established a $300 minimum fine for the first violation, and then $500 for the second violation. That's pretty stiff, and that indicates that they wanted to make sure that this law was treated very seriously and followed by people driving in CNMI.
But this law may not be so easy for officers to enforce due to the dark tinting on many vehicles.
One of the things that I think is going to be a problem here in CNMI is actually seeing inside of a car. If you have your windows up and they're tinted in CNMI, you can't see very much at all. But people shouldn't take that as a way to avoid complying with this law. I would encourage drivers to take it seriously. I would encourage passengers to take it seriously and to remind drivers to put down the cell phone.
Just another reminder of the dangers distracted driving can lead to.
We've all gotten into a car and being driven by someone who was using a cell phone. And don't you know, in your mind, you always thought, man, I hope he doesn't have a wreck. Well, this law recognizes that concern. And so we all need to retrain ourselves on how we behave in a car and to make sure that if we're going to use a cell phone in a car, that it's hands-free.
Reporting for KSPN, I'm Ashley McDowell. Stay tuned. After the break is your weather report.
Half a day. I'm Dr. Dennis Williams, eye surgeon and physician at the Marianas Eye Institute.
Smoking can harm nearly every organ in your body, including your eyes. Age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, affects the center of the retina, which is responsible for the central vision needed for everyday tasks such as reading and driving.
Multiple of scientific studies involving smoking and the health of your eye have absolutely demonstrated how the blood vessels can be severely affected by smoking so much that you would lose your central vision.
AMD is the leading cause of permanent vision loss among Americans age 65 and older, and if you smoke, you're 3 times more likely to get it.
Fortunately, these same studies have shown that by stopping smoking, you can decrease this risk in the future in spite of many years of smoking. So I encourage you to stop smoking as soon as you possibly can.
Many eye issues can be treated right here on Saipan. Come see for yourself.
This has been Dr. Dennis Williams of the Marianas Eye Institute.
My family is on whole home Wi-Fi powered by Plume. Since we installed the Docomo whole home Wi-Fi, what did you guys notice about it?
When you pull up the driveway, it automatically connects, and I don't have to get out of my car right away and come upstairs to go on my phone.
My favorite thing is that it doesn't buffer when I'm watching YouTube.
My favorite thing is that when Addie calls now, there's no lag. Like before it used to be where I couldn't see her sometimes and I have to hang up and then call her back, and now I don't have to do that.
You know what's a good thing too is that when you come over to visit, I could give you your own password. I can assign a time limit so that I can say that you can only be on it for 1 hour, so that means you won't get in trouble from your mom.
And then you can go home.
The thing that I love the most is that I can freeze the internet for periods of time so that we can enjoy dinner time like this. Why are you rolling your eyes? So I'll turn it back on after dinner. Whole home Wi-Fi powered by Plume. Docomo Pacific, better together.
Today we had a high of 90, the highest of 2020, a low of 78, heat index 101, 59% humidity. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, isolated showers, east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 90, a low of 78, seas 4 to 6 feet. Sunrise at 5:48 a.m., low tide at 8 a.m., high tide at 11:45 p.m., and sunset at 6:38 p.m. Thank you for watching KSPN2. Have a great and safe rest of your evening.